Alright guys, here is my giant piston and this compressor, and this thing is an entirely a hot mess. This thing's leaking oil. This is a single acting compressor, but it's a double acting system, so I have to figure this all out. But what I wanted to show you is this. This is the assembler, and that piston we were just looking at, the end of it goes here and anchors in here, and then there's some parts that clamp to the top, the surface of this, and the piston sits on this thing, and it pushes its piston rod out that way, and essentially this thing right here sits in the piston rod. This sits in the piston rod and it rocks this way like this. And then between that piece and that piece, and so into both of these grooves, you have one groove going that way, one of these exact pieces going that way. And then this one gets bolted in right here, and there's actually a chain that connects it. 'Cause this thing wasn't designed very well, as you can tell by all the shit that's wrong with it. Definitely the first model of this, but I still need it because it's the only one I have that works right now. Anyway, this thing pushes, and then there's a metal ring that sits in here and gets pressed and pulled on to the Exomuscle, which is the highest strength to weight ratio hydraulic actuators ever made, which is the invention that I made. They're artificial muscles, and they're awesome. And you can see right here, Exomuscle assembler, maybe. Exomuscle assembler. So that's what this thing is right here, and so now it is on a stand. It's on this little stand that I made, and it rolls around. I got it on the casters, and that's great because I'm about to move, and that's how I'm getting this thing there. I don't know what I'm doing with the piston. I'm just going to throw it in somewhere. And then down here is a good spot for a little, essentially like a little tabletop or a shelf, I guess. I guess that'd be a shelf. A little shelf that goes in there. And I'm taking all this wood because I'm broke and I need the wood. And also, I like it because it has some character. I like that. And so what I did is I put polyurethane over all this dirt, which is kind of a little goofy, but I kind of like it. I like that this shows like all the wear and tear from my old shop. And so this is all, some of this metal is actually bound in here now into the surface. And so I'm going to cut this out and use that as the shelf for down there, and it'll have, and then this thing will rest on it temporarily until I can get something better working for it, or maybe I'll just use this and just build a new unit completely. I don't know. But yeah, I like that, and I like that it just has a little bit of I don't know, character or whatever. Now what I'm gonna do tomorrow, well now what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna cut the rest of this to size, and then tomorrow I'll be welding a stand for that lathe that's underneath the green cover over there. It's going to be very similar to this one, this stand right here, except it's going to have a bulkier top, and it's made out of thicker metal, but this is all the same, and I have much more badass casters to go on it that are self-leveling. Well, not self-leveling, but they can be leveled, and they take the roll out of it once you do such a thing. That's it for me, guys. That's a little quick thing that I've been working on. It was the first test of this angled part, this angular plane, to my welding table, and it worked really well. It went really fast. Made the welding and the setup really easy. Obviously, I realized what I need is I need a good saw to cut stock at angles and quickly, because doing it by hand is not ideal. If I had that, I could literally make boxes like super fast, and I'm gonna start a welding shop soon, and when I move to Fort Collins, this is one thing I'm gonna do for money, is weld stuff, and I could weld stuff like this, boxes like this, especially if I got some kind of system for cutting stock a lot easier and better. I could really make boxes and stands and whatever, custom stands for people that need that kind of stuff made really, really efficiently. So yeah, it's coming along, and I'm moving to Fort Collins soon and doing awesome shit. So come back tomorrow and check out that stand for the lathe. It's going to be awesome. Y'all have a good one. Bye.